What's up, guys? Welcome to A Reseller's Life. This is my Reseller Spotlight series where I talk to my favorite reseller friends and ask them how they actually plan their day. Today, we have everyone's favorite hustle at home mom. Ashley, why don't you tell people where they can find you online? And thanks for coming today.
Hey, Chris, thank you so much. Yeah, everyone can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Hustle at Home Mom. And I just share my journey as a part-time reseller while raising my kids, now homeschooling my kids, and selling on eBay and Amazon. So that's just kind of my very brief story.
So let's talk about what's cool and what sucks about reselling where you live.
Yeah. Oh gosh, the bins where I live aren't that great. So that's just one thing. I know a lot of resellers go to the Goodwill outlet and they find things by the pound. The Goodwill outlet isn't so great where I live. And I really like people kind of comment on my YouTube channel, oh, you must live in a rich area. I really don't. I have to really hunt and look through thousands of things before I find anything good. So that's just something that is tough here. It's not like the ritziest, most fashionable area. I just have to really, really sniff around that. And there is quite a bit of competition in Salt Lake City. There's a lot of booksellers. There's a lot of Amazon sellers, wholesalers. There's a lot of people out here who are very aggressive and have a lot more time than I do. So things like retail arbitrage is very hard here. When people go to Walmart's, Targets, these big box stores and try to find things for Amazon, it's very challenging here because there are people with teams and vans, and they can get there faster than I can with two screaming kids.
Mhm.
So that's another challenge. It's not realistic for me to do a lot of retail arbitrage as well. So I guess those are a couple of the challenges that I face.
That is, I'm from Utah, guys, and Ashley and I went to school together, and
Yeah.
but never met. And I think it's really interesting that Utah is really, really entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of industry there. We don't have oil or any cool natural resources. Everyone is a hustler, so it's kind of a good place for entrepreneurship to start your own thing because there are a lot of people who do that in Utah. Um,
definitely. I'd say half our neighborhood has their own thing that they do. They've created their own job, and then the other half, yeah, like my husband, we work for a corporation or a big company, which is great too. But yeah, a lot of people who just they want to create their own job and their own income.
You're in a similar situation with me with one working partner, one person doing their own side thing. What is your like overall goal with reselling? How do you look at this thing that we do?
So my overall goal, I think, is time freedom and location freedom. I love the idea that if I work hard enough and if I establish enough systems and put them in place, I can work from anywhere and free my husband from his job. I mean, he has a great job. We're very grateful for it. And that is kind of a dream that we are chasing, is to do our own thing. So that's what I'm looking for, is a way to create because as you know, every job has a ceiling if you work for somebody else. There's just a limit to what you can earn. And I like the idea that I am my only ceiling. However hard I'm willing to work is the top of that ceiling. And unfortunately, it's very low right now because I don't work as hard as I know I could. So, but one day, when my kids are in school again and I can really focus again, I'm hoping to really push and just see what that limit is.
So you're one of the rare people that has multiple income streams. You have a YouTube channel. You
Right.
um you sell on Amazon and eBay, and you've tried other platforms too. How do you
Right.
decide where to put your time?
I put my time into where I'm seeing the greatest return on investment.
Hmm.
So, because I see a lot of return on investment with YouTube, I do focus on that. I mean, it doesn't seem like it, but I do try to put out a few videos here and there, because that's a really great way not only to share my journey, but to create some passive income with AdSense. And in addition to that, because of YouTube and because I link my eBay store, that gets a lot of traffic as well. So, I do enjoy sharing eBay and my YouTube channel with my audience so that they can browse, shop, hear what I'm finding, hear what I'm selling. And really, though, Amazon is like the gold standard for all marketplaces because things just move so quickly there.
Hmm.
But the only hard part with Amazon is finding reliable, consistent items that you can sell on that platform. And
Hmm.
that's for me, like I enjoy selling the random electronic here and there, but my goal with Amazon is to have my own private label items there that I manufacture and put on that platform. That to me is where it's most powerful.
You know, you and I talk a lot about more than just earning money, because any of these platforms you can earn money, and we know people who earn healthy livings just doing one of these platforms, and
Exactly. Yeah.
most commonly Amazon. Um,
Right.
but it is, if you look at the stress level of someone who sells somebody else's products on Amazon, it's definitely the highest.
Oh
You
my gosh.
have
Yeah.
the opportunity to be suspended. The ball is everywhere but your court. You don't know what
That
can
is so
happen.
true. You're chasing. You're constantly
Mhm.
chasing. And that's really hard to like come to grips with stress wise. You have to be the first one at the store when it opens. You have to use Brickseek. You have to be that guy that elbows everyone out of the way and says, I want all 5 Nintendo Switches and piss everybody else off. Like you have
Mhm.
to be that person. And I'm not aggressive enough, I don't think, to be as successful with retail arbitrage. I guess like you don't, I shouldn't say that. You don't have to be a jerk. You can be a
It
good
helps
person,
though.
but
It helps
it
when you're trying to
helps.
do
It
that.
helps. And to just chase, and I don't like that feeling. I don't enjoy that feeling stress wise. So exactly like you said, like it's just a very aggressive place, and it's high stress, high stakes, high stress. But at the same time, the higher the risk, the higher the reward with Amazon. If you can find and Brickseek like and get a ton of stuff, you can make thousands in a day. There's just no question.
And I think that's interesting because we talk about time freedom, and the people who have sort of monetary freedom with Amazon sometimes don't have time freedom.
Hmm.
Sometimes they do, but if
Right.
you have to be on the pulse of what's going to happen next, sometimes it's your entire life doing that.
Absolutely.
You and
You
I
got
have
to
both
find
noticed.
what's next. Like always, what's next? What's going to be selling next? Sorry, but yeah, go ahead.
No, no. You and I have both talked about being like, if there's too much volume, sometimes the stress level may not be worth it. Do
Yeah.
you look at it like you want to maintain a certain size store or a certain number of hours each week? What do you think?
That's a great question. I do get asked that a lot on my YouTube channel as well. But like, I actually just work as much as I can. Like, I have limited time, limited resources, and I would love to put in 20 hours a week if I could. Some weeks it's 10, some weeks it's 5. Um, and it's really just as much as I can, like not only emotionally, mentally, but physically. What can I put in that day? But having a store that stays, right now my store is at 700 items in eBay, and then Amazon it's a few hundred. It's just not a lot. um, that's just what I definitely find that when I hit a certain number in sales, my stress level just exponentially increases.
Hmm.
So right now, the about 5,000 a month on eBay is a great place where I feel like I can handle it, and it's okay. I'm currently at about 7,000, so I'm feeling, and then I'm at a few more thousand on Amazon. So like I'm feeling the stress of all of that. And of course, with more time, I can feed those platforms more in a healthier way. But Chris and I had to figure out a time between school for me and like everything else I'm doing to like chat today. I mean, that's just the reality of where I am. I'm helping my kids with school, and I'm helping keep the house together. My husband works full time. So it's just not realistic to put up huge, crazy numbers right now. But what I am doing is building a foundation. That's what I always tell myself. I'm keeping the foundation healthy for when I have time later to add to that. And I think that's something that anybody can do, no matter how much time you have. You have a couple hours a week, even, you can start laying that foundation. And then when you have more time, or a resource for inventory, or a resource for like a supplier or whatever, you can build on that. It never hurts. And especially right now, as people are just shopping online more than ever, like to have an e-commerce store on every platform is really, really valuable. One that has 100% positive feedback, where I just have this foundation for any kind of like income stream later on that I want to do.
This is
Same with
so
the YouTube
smart.
channel, that grows as well. It's a foundation. I'm just like, even though they're not, anything that's going to be really huge right now, it will. I just have that for later. Later, I can continue to build. So that's just kind of my mentality right now. No rush. I will
That's
have time later.
that's super smart, because a lot of these accounts, YouTube, eBay, Amazon specifically, age of your account matters.
Right.
So if
Right.
you open an account and it's just active, they can see that you're serious, you're taking your account seriously, versus the people who come on firing. It's almost a guarantee they'll be suspended, even if they're doing
Right.
it perfectly.
Right. It's very true. It's very true. It's just a lightning rod for Amazon to just come after you, or even eBay, and you're always calling to increase your limits. So
Hmm.
it's better to establish like a solid foundation, even with just a few things. And then later you can always add to that as an established seller.
We always talk about your dreams for what happens when your kids go back to school and you get some more time. So let's say I came to help out for 10 hours a week. What would you have me be helping you with?
Shipping. Shipping, and listing's a pretty fast process, but yeah, maybe shipping and listing. Actually, you know what I would have you do, Chris? I would have you just cold call as many people as you can. I would just have you be my cold caller, and I would try to find connections for Amazon. That's just something that I don't have the time to put in right now. And like as a female, I don't know if I'm taking it seriously. I don't know if that's like just me, but or I just have a very quiet demeanor. I'm not very aggressive. So yeah, I would have you just cold call a lot of suppliers and see what connections you can give me so that I can more easily obtain inventory for Amazon. That's just one thing that I know I'm missing out on, but I don't know where to put. I don't know how to do that at this time, like with the time that I have. So yeah, that's something that I would have you do for sure.
That's kind of interesting because I feel like you should almost leave your eBay store at a 5 or less, and that way it's just active. But then
Mhm.
it does open up some time to make a couple calls a week. Although it's such a transition from, you know, making something look nice to calling somebody. It's such a different task. It's a totally different mood that you have to be in.
Right,
Um,
right.
let's talk about what your day looks like. Yeah, how does it all work? What does a typical Ashley day look like?
Hmm. Typical or right now? I mean, I guess, yeah, I'll just do a blend of both. I get up and I usually go running, and that's like my morning ritual.
Hmm.
And then I will do my shipping. I'll come back and do my shipping. My husband will help get the kids breakfast and everything. Mondays are my most stressful days because I'm usually trying to ship everything from the weekend. And I don't do any work on Sundays, so that's why like it just piles up on Monday. And I should be better about Saturday night just getting it done, but I'm horrible about that. So anyway, Mondays, yeah, I'm shipping and I'm trying to get a YouTube video up for Tuesday. And I once I do that, then I'm helping my kids from pretty much 9:30 to 3. And then after that, I run to the post office, drop things off if I can, if I have the time, or I'll have my husband do it. And then I cannot really touch anything work wise until 8 or 9 at night. And that's when it gets tricky because, like, that's when my kids are in bed. And then I'm really tired emotionally, physically. And so I'll do like an hour or so of tidying, listing. I have things here I'm cleaning and testing for Amazon. So I'll just do that. And then 11, 12 o'clock is usually when I'm just like, all right, I'm at my limit. I can't do it anymore. And then I pass out and repeat the next day.
Are you on any specific type of running goal in the morning?
For a while, I was signed up for the Salt Lake Half in April, and so I continued to train for that even when it got canceled. And
Hmm.
so that was really fun to do by myself. Like I just ran 13.1 on my own, and then now I'm hoping to just stay in good enough shape to do some kind of race in the fall. So I'm trying to stay at around 30 to 35 miles a week and see where that takes me. But it's been just, I really personally enjoy running a lot. It's just like a way to get out, a way to meditate. I don't push myself super hard. Yeah, so it's more just a way for me to get away from everybody for a second and like get a breath, get some peace before my chaotic day starts.
I love it. I'm at like 12 a week, so I'm gonna
12 a
up
week, nice.
up my game.
Whatever. But
But
you're
so
like just in way better shape. So yeah, you can do like pull-ups. I can't even do one.
I got more fitness tips than ever. Just posting on Instagram because I'm like, if you ask for help, people will give you the help. So,
Yeah.
so also, we had talked about maybe you building one of these, but do you, do you use a calendar, to-do list? How do you mark all this stuff down?
Yes, I do have I just have a small scheduler planner that I write things down in, things I need to do, accomplish for the day. I have a calendar that I use. It's just right by my bed that I mark down like my mileage. That's really just for my fitness. I mark down my mileage and my time, and I'm trying to see how my mile time can come down. But as far as like eBay and Amazon, yeah, I have a to-do list, a checklist, and I try to keep it reasonable for what I know I can do. And often it's like, can I get 5 listings up? Can I photograph 5 things? Like, that's as realistic as I make it. It is not wise for parents right now, I think, who are homeschooling their kids to add more pressure to themselves, because like these are unprecedented times, and that's what I wish I could like share to people is just go easy on yourself right now. This is yeah, we're being tested in a lot of new and challenging ways, so that's something that I'd throw out there.
So we have talked about you building a planner for parents.
Yeah,
What would you put in there different than what you do, or what do you think is realistic for people to sort of plan?
I would write definitely like how, like I would make it reseller related and have a number of listings and a number of value. How much monetary value are you adding to your store? How many photographs did you do? I'll have like, I would probably have like a checklist of something along those lines. So that way every week, even if you're not selling as much as you want to for a period of time, you can at least see the monetary value you're adding to your store, number of listings that you have. And like, I would love at the end of the week to have some kind of checklist of number of listings, total numbers, like sell-through rate, just small calculations so that you can see progress over time. So I would definitely do something like that, and just have it be just very simple. What are 3 things you want to accomplish today? 3 things. 10 listings. I don't know if it's 10 listings, record a YouTube video, get 10 Amazon listings up, or 10 items cleaned, or 10 items prepped, or I called 2 suppliers or whatever. Something like that.
You mentioned the calendar is by your bed. Do you plan the next day the day before? Is
The
it
night
the
before,
night
yeah.
before? Okay.
I'll just sketch out a few things that I want to do and check it off as I go.
I think that's, people say meditate or all this other stuff, but the like always people plan the next day kind of the night before, just kind of
Hmm.
a rough draft, because that way you start the day off on that positive trend,
Right.
and you use running as an anchor. That's really smart. And if you probably, what do you do when you can't get your run in?
Oh, I hate it. Cause then I'm just behind. Like I feel like I'm starting the day behind, because then I have to figure out a way to squeeze my run in later. And if it has to happen in the evening, that means I've just blown all the work opportunity I could have done that day. So it just, because I know how stressful it feels to not get my run in, I do try to make that a priority. But it's hard. It's been hard recently with the homeschooling thing, because at least I could be like, well, the kids are in school. I can at least go from 9 to 10 if I have to. But now if I miss it, it's very hard to catch up. So yeah, that's something. And I do like, I like what you said, like visualizing your day, or like spiritually creating the day you want before it happens really, really helps. If you can like envision it and say, this is what I wish to accomplish, this is how I envision it going. I just find that I'm able to tackle it as I'm going through it, instead of, again, chasing it from behind. Like I'm chasing this day I want from behind. That's never a good place to be.
And I also want to point out to people that I sketch out my day, and it, even without kids, it doesn't look like that the next day. It's not the same. It's
Right.
just an idea. It
Exactly.
never goes like as the plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes I
but
say, forget work and we're just going to watch a movie and just hang out and relax. And that fills my mental health cup, and then I'm able to tackle the next day a little bit better because I'm not so exhausted.
what is a fun high profit item or low profit item? So what's something cool that you sold that you think is kind of interesting?
I did sell our home gym equipment. That was a recent sell of mine. So my husband got these adjustable weights we
Hmm.
just never use. Everyone could come at me. I'm so sorry. I know we're just the worst, but we just don't use them. So they sold for $250 each for each 25-pound set. And my husband got those 12 years ago at Target. Like those kinds of things are selling like crazy. So that was $500 just randomly in our pocket. And then a pull-up bar as well that I got free from a yard sale many moons ago, I was like, oh, I'm going to start doing pull-ups. And that, of course, didn't happen because I'm the worst. And so I just pulled it out, took a picture. It was even frayed at the ends. It wasn't perfect. And it sold for $90 overnight plus $20 shipping. And I just took it apart, put it in a flat rate, and it was on its merry way. So stuff like that, I just love. Right now, the most random things. We sold our Switch for double its value. So we like got paid to play the Switch
Yeah.
last year. Like games that we got on Black Friday for $30 are selling used at full price. So we sold all of that. We're like, well, we'll just, if we want it, we'll just buy it again later. But we don't really use video games very often. So
Hmm.
we just sold it. And yeah, stuff like that I just think is kind of crazy right now. Random things are selling.
What you mentioned earlier about building a foundation, you built one on YouTube, on Amazon. How do you approach, and you also did it with Poshmark, you investigated it just like me. When you think of a new project, how do you learn about it? Do you just start using it? Do you read up on it? How do you learn a new platform?
I do no reading. I'm the worst in this way. I don't read or research anything. I just do it, and I do it wrong. And then I figure out a way to do it better. Um, I also look at the results. Poshmark, as I've said on my channel before, like it just for me has not resulted in like the things that I've wanted as far as sell through rate. I don't like the sharing aspect. It's been a tougher platform for me to get into. I know I should. A lot of people do very well on Poshmark. It's a very social media friendly platform. It's very trendy. I know like on YouTube, if I sold on Poshmark, I know my views would be a lot higher because I think it's a more popular
Hmm.
thing to search. But yeah, like I don't do a ton of research. I find that just holds me. If I do research, I just never start. I'd rather just start, and that's how I started my YouTube channel. I didn't even think about it. I just did a dumb 4-minute video introing myself, and it was not pretty. And that's what I would say to anybody. Like, YouTube is great, but you have to start, and it's ugly at first, and then it gets better, and that's okay. Be okay with starting when it's ugly. Same with Amazon. You're not going to do it perfect. eBay, you're not going to do it perfectly. You might take pictures of things on your bed and just be like, I don't know. And guess what? It'll sell. My first 2 things I sold on eBay, I hung on the back of my bathroom door, and they sold fine. Like just get started. That's just, I'm a big proponent of just starting. Running, the same thing. Running is going to suck. It sucks at first. You hate
Hmm.
it. It's horrible. I don't know, me. But like after a while, it's just a great meditative, wonderful thing, but you just have to start, just like with anything. And it wouldn't do me any good to research, how do I start running? How do I do this? It just, you just get out, put one foot in front of the other. So
Yeah, to shout out the lazy reseller on Instagram because she was like, Chris, is there anything that you hate? And I was like, I hate running. She's like, you should sign up for a half marathon. I was like, "Oh." And then
right,
she's like, just start with around the block, 1 mile. And I hated it, but I did it last year. So she,
right.
but you just start and it's ugly and it's
Yeah,
painful in the beginning. And then you get
yeah,
into a routine and it becomes part of your day
yeah.
and it just keeps going. I love that. Just starting because, when you start enveloping when you start getting into the reselling community, you see people who are doing so much. And for me, that actually made me feel more at peace because it's like you can never reach the level of people who only do one thing.
No,
So that just puts you at peace. Like, you know what? I'll just do the best I can instead of worrying about there are people who literally work 20 hours a day with no kids and they have unlimited money. You
right.
can't reach that level of that person. And
No,
they're no longer doing it for the money. They
right,
also love it, do it all day, have all the connections. So
right.
let's talk about the hardest question that I have. I always save it for the end, sorry. Which is what's the one thing you can work on, let's say the rest of 2020, that would help your reselling business the most if you focused on that one thing?
That is such a great question. And I have an answer right at the tip of my tongue because I was just talking to my husband about this last night. I told him I'm my own worst enemy as far as like right here. I can talk myself out of anything as far as like I don't have enough confidence in myself to do X, Y, or Z. Like I can easily say, "Oh, you don't know enough." Like I really can attack myself right here, and it's just my biggest hurdle because if I could just overcome that, overcome my like just whatever mental roadblocks I have that say you don't know enough, no one would care. Like there, I can't tell you how many times this little voice here has said, just quit your YouTube channel, just quit this. What are you doing? Like, it sucks. It sucks to have this narrative, that script that plays, that you're constantly trying to fight. And I was telling my husband, I'm like, if I just didn't have that, imagine what I could do. The whole day would be open because I'm not fighting myself first. I'm tackling the actual job at hand. I'm not fighting the invisible enemy. And that's like what it is. It's this invisible enemy that tells me I can't do it, I'm not good enough, you're not smart enough, no one will want it. I mean, I don't know if who else out there can relate to that, but I'm like, maybe it's imposter syndrome, or I don't know what it is, but that's, if I'm listening right now to some really great audiobooks, and because I would love to read more. I do have a Kindle Paperwhite that I try to read on, but like, reading is a unitasker. I have to do things that I can multitask with, but I'm trying to listen to books and positive, uplifting things that will help me overcome that dang voice in my head that just, comes out of nowhere and tells me that I can't do it.
Hmm. Well, because from the outside, as your friend,
Hmm.
I feel like you're doing a lot, and your self confidence should be much higher.
Sure.
I think what helps with confidence sometimes is repetition of something, but again, that may not calm the that voice. Because I
Right.
know for you, I wish you had more stuff that people could buy from you, more products, more tools, especially like a planner.
Hmm.
And because that would be so useful. Looking at your day seems to make sense to me, where a lot of it happens when the kids are asleep,
Right.
or a little bit of time blocking. And
Hmm.
I think you had mentioned before, like sometimes there's an hour or 15 minutes and you have something ready to do.
Right. Always.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's a huge planner. I don't know on the confidence part. Maybe I'll have to check in with you every
Yeah.
and see what are we doing to fix that, because that limitation is really the only limitation. You can be
Right.
sort of anything.
Anyone, and that's the thing, anyone could be, I feel like, anything. It's just that it's always held me back. Like, I'm even amazed that I'm even here with anything in general, because that voice really would hold me back if it could. And then I get glimmers of like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't listen to that voice when it told me not to do this or this. But it's just something that, it just takes time. It takes time to ignore that voice. And there's times I give into it and I listen, and I shouldn't. And then there's times that I don't listen and I push through anyway, and I'm glad I did. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky,
So
and if it takes some more therapy or something to get through, then I do need to just go ahead and face that. Like, maybe it will take a little bit more therapy, not to like go there, but it's hard. It's just hard when, but at the same time though, I'm kind of grateful for it, because I'm at, like, it, not grateful, I shouldn't say that, but that negative voice, there's like that opposite side that's like, no, I'm going to do it anyway, because I'm fighting against myself. So it gives me a little bit of a push as well, because I'm like, no, I am going to fight. It gives me something to fight against. I don't know. I
so
don't know if that makes any sense.
one more tough question.
Yeah.
So let's say, what would right now, what do you think would make you the most happy? Would it be picking one of these things like Amazon, eBay, or YouTube, and going all out and giving yourself an opportunity to become super successful in one thing? Is it just managing the like a mix of things that to make it so it's not as boring? Because you and I both know what happens when you just focus on one thing. The success will grow, but so does the stress. What
Hmm.
do you what do you think right now would be best for you?
Hmm. I think it's not necessarily even the work, it's the system in place that
Mm,
causes me stress. If
mm,
I'm chasing, I like,
mm,
and we know Monica, Posh Hanger, love
mhm.
her to death. She and I chat often. And I was just telling her, I'm like, I don't want to keep chasing money. I want it to chase me. What systems am I putting in place where the money's chasing me instead of the other way around? And that's like, if I knew I had reliable inventory coming in for Amazon, for example, whether I create it or not, And if I knew that, like, okay, that means that for eBay, it can just strictly be fun because I'm sharing with my audience what I'm finding and I truly enjoy the treasure hunt. That's not
Mm.
stressful because I really like it. It's a lot of fun for me. And then had other reliable systems in place. So I don't mind I like juggling a lot of things. It's actually, I don't know how I would do it with just one thing. I read many books at the same time. I don't know. My brain just works like that. I like having several things. But I think it's having a reliable system like, okay, and this is where I struggle with even YouTube is when am I going to work on YouTube in a reliable and consistent way so that that system is in place and it doesn't cause me stress.
That
It only causes me stress when I know I need to get to it, but I haven't. Does that make sense?
that's literally my I always go over my favorite tip from the whole video, and that's my favorite tip, which is I don't wanna chase either. I think about that also. If
Yeah.
things were to come to you, if you had, Ashley's brick and mortar trade, buy, sell, and people brought you cool things that were
Hmm.
amazing, you wouldn't be stressed out looking through all these profit potential items.
Right.
That would be fun. Or
Right.
if, on YouTube, people presented you with an ideas all day. "Hey, I would love
Right.
a video on this, and not only do I love it, YouTube's algorithm will love it, and you'll make tons of
Yeah.
money." That would be
Right.
awesome if it came to you.
Right.
So,
And if I
creating
could do something I enjoy with YouTube as well, like I love
right.
chatting with people right now. This is so great. Or
Mhm.
like having just diving deep into other things that aren't reselling related. If I could incorporate things that I truly love with things that please the algorithm, that would be great too. But yeah, systems in place that fill my cup, that have the money chasing me. I'm like, when did like I think of people like Jeffree Star
Yeah.
who like had no money 5 years ago and now
Mhm.
he's a multi millionaire.
Mhm.
What did he do? He just dove into what he loved, created things, created an audience, and now like everything he does, he touches his gold. And I'm just like, that would be so cool to do instead of just constantly chasing. I don't know.
No, that I was just thinking about if you and I were at Walmart in the clearance section, looking through scanning items, and then you and I are waiting in line to check out to pay for the items
Right.
versus somebody calling us and saying, "Hey, I have a bunch of inventory. What's the best way to handle liquidation or getting rid of it?" That's very different.
Yes.
The
Very
and
different.
but creating the platform is what you and I are both doing.
Right.
So this is fantastic. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I know you're super busy, so I'll be respectful of your time. What's the best place for people to find you?
They can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Hustle at Home Mom. Just search it and you'll find me. And those are the two things that I focus on mostly. And that's really it. Yeah, anything like a website or anything like that is still in the works. Still a pipe dream right now. But that I think if you want more information on how I do what I do, YouTube is the best place because I have very in-depth videos on exactly what I sell, exactly what it sells for, exactly the profit margins I make. I mean, I do lay it out there very clearly. So if you want more information with regards to that, that's the best place to find me.
Awesome. Everybody follow Ashley on her social media handles, Instagram and YouTube, and then send her some love. Go to her Instagram page, and I have a lot of her posts saved. So you can download the guides that she puts on there. They're extremely useful, easy to use. And thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Until next time, make progress daily, everybody.